Hi, friends. Welcome to my humble homestead and garden side chat. So it has been quite the year for me, I tell ya. I've had a lot going on at the homestead. I've been having some health challenges with headaches and sinuses and things like that. But I have been determined to walk my healing out as natural as I can. So in the past years when I've had sinusitis, it's just lingered on, and I've ended up having to go on an antibiotic to prevent pneumonia and hospital stays and things like this. However, I've been determined this year that I am going to take this on naturally, which has probably been one of the reasons why it's been long going. But I'm happy to say that I do feel a lot better. Part of the reason also is the air quality this year has been quite a challenge. And I feel like I haven't been able to be outside as much as I want. So yeah. Anyway, so we're going to get into, I've taken this holistic workshop and I've learned some things that I'm excited to share with you. So I'm excited to get started on teaching and sharing with you things that I'm implementing in my life. And things that are so simple, but yet so powerful, and that are also available for children. Ways that we can heal ourselves and help prevent things with just simple items that we have in our house. So you all know that I am a firm believer that if we give our body what it needs, it's designed to perform at the optimum level. God has designed our bodies to heal themselves. So just like gardening, if we give our plants what they need, the nutrition that it needs, then things are going to grow and things are going to perform with the optimal conditions. Same with our bodies. If we are giving our bodies what they need, they're going to perform optimally. If our bodies are not performing optimally, we need to ask ourselves why. We need to be detectives for ourselves. We need to kind of dig in there and figure out what is going on that is causing my body not to perform the way it should. Newton's third law of motion tells us to every law of action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So we know that. Proverbs 26:2 states that the curse causeless shall not come. This means that a problem does not happen without a cause. Let's be an advocate, an investigator. Let's figure this out. Sometimes it might not be real obvious. Listen, I was almost bedridden for 10 years. I was sick for so long and just kind of masking the symptoms, going from doctor to doctor, from hospital stay to hospital stay. And it took so long for me to get to that point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I finally figured out I need to figure out the root cause and what's going on in my body. And how do I fix that? Am I completely there? Clearly not, but I'm a lot better. You know, I was given 24 hours to live. I spent 3.5 weeks in cardiac ICU. I had 7 blood transfusions in a couple days because they didn't think I was going to make it through the night. I had more clots around my heart than they could count. I'm a walking miracle. And I was told I'd be totally and permanently disabled and never be able to work again. And look at me now. Not only am I working full time, I have my channel. I can grow my own food. I can prep my own food. And that is what I'm trying to show you here. You may not have to do all of what I'm doing, but you don't have to be bedridden either. So that's the reason why I do this. I want to investigate the cause of what's going on in our body. We are our biggest advocates. I learned that the hard way, but I'm so glad I learned it. And I'm trying to show you that so you don't have to struggle for years like I did. That's the biggest thing. In traditional medicine, there are two main theories. There's the germ theory and the gene theory. Those are the theories that they believe are the two main causes of sickness and disease. Are there any facts to this? I'm going to kind of look at that and look at what their theories are and what the facts are that they believe. And we'll see. We all need to research for ourselves and decide what we feel is going to be the best method for our bodies and our health, and for us to live the best that we can on this earth. We can be a good steward over these bodies, and we want to feel the best that we can. I mean, I want to be able to do things with my kids and my grandkids and share with you, so there's reasons we want to feel the best that we can. Only you really know the symptoms that go on in your body. You can go to a doctor and you can explain to them your symptoms and things, and they can try to diagnose by what you say. But really, you're the only one that knows exactly what goes on in your body, which is why I say you need to be the investigator. You need to be the advocate and figure out where it's coming from. If we don't find the root cause, then we're basically just putting a Band-Aid over it. For instance, if we look at pain is there because it's like knocking on your door. It's knocking, say, hello, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. And what normally happens if we say we just take ibuprofen, or we go to the doctor and we get a pain medication, or we do that? You know what it does? It just covers up the layer of pain, but it's still knocking underneath. That pain is still there. It's not going away. It's just dulling. That medicine on top is just dulling it. And believe me, I've taken years and years of ibuprofen. This is one of the reasons why I mean, to the point where it just ruined my entire gut. So this is one of the reasons why I'm such a believer of this right now. I've made turmeric tabs, I've made herbal pain tabs, and things that I do to try to prevent. And when I have a little flare, I can take a turmeric tab and things like that. So these are the things that I'm learning now, trying to share with you, because we need to get to the bottom of what is causing that pain underneath, because we mask it and say it's a torn ligament or something. And if you're just masking it, but you're not, say that pain is telling you to stop and rest, pain is a signal. And if you're not listening to that pain signal and you're just masking, but you're like, oh, I still want to go out and play soccer or whatever it is you want to do, you could tear that even worse. And then it becomes a lifelong injury. We got to listen to our bodies and hear and find the root cause and see what our body's telling us to do to heal itself. It's super important. If we give our body what it needs, God is designed to heal itself. That's like my number one biggest thing. So if we do look at the gene theory, DNA does definitely play a role in what color is your hair? What color are your eyes? Genetics also do play a role in our disposition on our body. Do we have, when you go to the doctor, they do take a history. Like, do you have diabetes in your family? Genetically, it does play a role, right? But our actions are what pulls the trigger. If you're predestined for diabetes, you can change your diet. You can add some activities. You can do things that can take that predestined genetic and you can completely stop that. You don't have to be predestined for diabetes because of the genetics. You can know. So some people think, oh, it's in my genes. I'm just destined to have this arthritis, or I'm just destined to have this heart disease. That is not true. Knowledge is power. If you know that, then that is more important to even take your nutrition that much more seriously, and your activity level and the toxins that are around you. That is so, especially with cancer. If you know that you have cancer, I don't even know. I am very anti having to go in and have a mastectomy because you have genetics in your, that's just not how I believe. It's so good to know because there's so many more things we can do to fight that. That's my belief. That's my personal thing. I just think knowledge is power. And yes, do genes play a role? Yes. But is it the do all end all? I don't believe so. Hippocrates says, let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. He believed the same thing, that we can use food as medicine. So let's talk about germs. So we have microorganisms growing everywhere, right? So we have them on our skin, we have them in our bodies, we have them in the air we breathe, we have them in our gastrointestinal tract. We have more microorganisms in our bodies than we do even living cells. And they play a very impactful role. When there's cell damage, now the microorganisms become the garbage collectors. They turn into bacteria. Bacteria has caused a lot of sickness and disease. Back in the day, if you're all familiar with Florence Nightingale, she was a nurse who made a huge impact on germs and hygiene, sanitation, and nutrition. That just kind of changed the way that we look at germs and the way that we treat illness today. She made an impact on the Scutari Hospital. When the British and the French were fighting the Russians, the wounded were put into a boat and they were shipped over the Dead Sea into Scutari Hospital. Florence Nightingale went to try and help at this hospital, and when she went there, she saw the conditions were horrible. They were so filthy and so unsanitary. They had waste in the hallways. The doctors did not wash their hands between surgeries, between patients. The death rate was 50% at the Scutari Hospital. And she was just shocked because she knew that this was probably a big part of the death rate. So she wanted to go in and help. Well, the doctors said, absolutely not. You cannot come here. This is men's work. You are not coming in here. Florence Nightingale, her father being a very wealthy Englishman, she contacted him and said, this is what I need. I need new bedding. I need new mattresses. I need medical supplies. I need new food. And she just said, this is what I need. And of course, him being a wealthy man was going to make it happen. During the next wave of battles, they shipped a whole nother group of wounded soldiers over, and the hospital was overfilled. At this point, they said, fine, you can help. So she went in there and she just cleaned and scrubbed and scrubbed and cleaned and cleaned and scrubbed. And then at that time, all the supplies came. So she changed the nutrition. She got everything cleaned. She made them wash their hands. Just simple soap, water, clean, and good nutrition. Then the death toll went from 50% down to 2%. Florence Nightingale, just with hygiene, sanitation, and nutrition, completely changed the way that germs, bacteria, and cleanliness took over diseases and sicknesses and illnesses. So at that time, all the diseases such as whooping cough, diphtheria, tetanus, all of those had been at the peak. And during this time, they just all dropped right down. Interesting enough, at the same exact time that that happened is when they decided to introduce vaccination. Even though the diseases went in, then they started the vaccinations, and that is the same time that polio was pretty much eradicated, when at the same time it was sanitation, nutrition, and hygiene, but you're not going to really find that in any chart. But interesting enough, at the same time that vaccinations went up, all of a sudden we're starting to see things come in like autism and epilepsy, things that we had never seen before. You know, it's just kind of something to look at, you know, that if we give the body what what it needs. If we give the body nutrition, sanitation, and cleanliness, the body is able to heal itself. Thankfully, Florence Nightingale really changed the way that nursing was looked at and how patients were cared for. She never really wanted to be looked at as a heroine. To her, that was just a normal way of doing things. That, if you look at genetics and germs, those are the two things that the medical field looks at when it should just be common sense. If we give the body what it needs, the body will heal itself. Stamp that on my forehead. The best way to build healthy microbes is through the gut, which is my other biggest thing. Gut health is like number one. Your gut is like your second brain. It plays such an important role in the body. It's responsible for absorption of the nutrients, and the gut flora breaks up the nutrients that go into the blood in the body. It's so important in protecting our blood from harmful microbes. And Hippocrates also said all disease begins in the gut. So now if you think of an antibiotic, if you take an antibiotic, what does an antibiotic mean? It means anti, against, bio, life. So against life, against living things. So if you take an antibiotic, it just literally kills all of the good bacteria that is living in your gut. I'm not trying to say this for doomsday because believe me, I was on so many IV antibiotics and cortisone, which is another thing. I mean, I've been years of building my body back, still battling with things, which is why this is why I study so hard on this stuff, because I still have to build my body back. But I'm doing it through food and nutrition. Other things, cortisone is another one, statins, pain medications, Advils, things like that. These all kill the flora in our guts. So these are why I took a lot of ibuprofen for years. I had chronic migraines. I still have chronic migraines. So why I make the turmeric tabs, the herbal, like feverfew and the herbal things. Then we have like the cleaners and the toxins in, deodorants and toothpaste and shampoos. And I don't want to overwhelm people, but it's like, if we see what is going into our bodies and then we wonder, why are we sick? Why are there things going on that we can't explain? So we need to figure it out, which is why, you can get overwhelmed, but like I say, just start somewhere. Look at what is going on. Be the investigator. Plastics, GMO foods. There's just so many things that compromise our systems, our immune systems, and our gut flora. It takes another blow to the gut. The biggest, if we can heal our guts, make them strong so they can fight off all these microorganisms that try to attack the good cells. Start giving the body the right things and the good things and the things that it needs. There are ways to start building that gut flora back. I've done a couple of diets. I did the autoimmune anti-inflammatory diet. Some of them seem really extreme, but let me tell you that it's really about building that gut flora up. Aloe vera and slippery elm, those are really good things that soothe and heal the gut. There's a lot of things that I'll be going over in this series. This is the introduction I wanted to do to kind of show you, where does the disease come from? And is it possible to reverse it? Yes, I believe so. I do believe. I'm clearly a prime example of that. Do I have good days and bad days? Absolutely. But I have a lot of good days and I'm still working on it. And I'm happy to share what I'm learning with you. Some things coming up that I'm really excited to share. The first thing I'm going to do is go over the onion. I'm really excited to go over that and how we can use the onion for coughs. You can use it if you have children that cough all night, if they get a cold, that's another thing, earaches. So I'm going to go over the onion and why the onion is such a easy, simple, powerful remedy. So that will be coming up in the next video that I share in this series. I hope that this inspires you to know that we can all live healthy and happy lives. We don't have to pay tons of money. We don't have to spend lots of money on supplements and go to tons of different doctors, and we can start where we're at. I always say start by drinking a lot of good water. Start with that, do that. Add some probiotics into your diet, just to add a couple things. Start there and then move on. Stop eating processed foods. If you could just do those 3 things to begin with, wow, Huge, great things. So I'm so happy that you guys have taken your time out to listen to the beginning of the series. I am super excited. If you are excited and ready to get healthy and learn more things, then give it a thumbs up and share so others can join us in this adventure to strong, healthy lives. Have a great rest of your day. Be blessed. Bye.